They say laughter is the best medicine. But technically, morphine is better, especially if you're on fire. So, we've built this entire civilization around pretend numbers, social construct. Debt, pretend. Credit score, that's adult horoscopes. Your credit score just says, based on your reckless past, we're guessing your future will also be hilarious and or sad. I had a 480 credit score once. That's not a number, that's a warning label. It's like the bank saying, hey, if you lend this guy money, you should also hire a priest. You ever talk to a modern evangelical? They've got that look, like they're trying to convince you, but mostly themselves, that Jesus wouldn't absolutely hate their guts. I had one tell me, I just try to live like Christ would want me to live. I said, really? Christ? The barefoot socialist with anger issues and zero tolerance for bankers? That Christ? You mean the guy who flipped tables when people mixed religion and money, not the guy who sells gold-plated crucifixes on Facebook Live between MyPillow ads? Evangelicals now are like a rock band that only covers the worst B-sides and yells, see, this is the message. And it's always some line about obedience and suffering. Never the part where Jesus said, hey, maybe don't be such a greedy and oppressive dick. You ever notice how the people screaming the loudest about Christian values are the ones doing the least Christ-like stuff imaginable? Love thy neighbor. They say, unless that neighbor's gay, poor, liberal, brown, transgender, on food stamps, or drives a Prius. Then it's more of a love them at a distance, with binoculars and a shotgun. Jesus fed the poor. Modern Christians hoard coupons and yell at minimum wage workers for putting too many pickles on a sandwich. They say, I don't want socialism in my country. Dude, your Lord literally turned water into wine for free. He's the original party socialist. They always say, what would Jesus do? Apparently the answer is, buy 3 SUVs, vote against healthcare, and scream at school boards about Satan hiding in algebra textbooks. Pray before meals, but vote for politicians who cut school lunch programs. March for unborn fetuses, but not for the kids coughing up asbestos in underfunded classrooms. They'll say life is sacred, right up until you're born. Then suddenly it's, should have worked harder, baby, welcome to the free market. Jesus hung out with prostitutes, thieves, and lepers. You know, the people modern evangelicals would call freeloaders and criminals and insurance liabilities. You think if Jesus came back today, he'd show up in khakis with a flag pin and vote Republican? No. He'd be the guy getting tackled outside a Walmart for yelling at billionaires and trying to hand out sandwiches to homeless veterans. And you'd call the cops on him. Speaking of dicks, tech bros are like if ambition got a lobotomy and learned JavaScript. Every tech bro I've met talks like he's pitching something on Shark Tank, but it's always just an app to do something we already knew how to do. I met a guy who said he was building a digital empathy interface. I said, oh, so therapy? He said, no, bro, it's an algorithm that mimics concern. So, Facebook customer service? These are the same guys who think poverty can be fixed with a podcast and a crypto wallet. They'll tell you, you just have to grind, man. Hustle. Sleep is for the weak. Yeah? Tell that to your pancreatic enzymes when they start eating themselves. Tech bros worship Elon Musk like he's a deity. Not because he's smart, but because he talks like a guy who accidentally microwaved his own brain and decided it made him a genius. They say he's self-made. No, he's South African apartheid emerald money made with a side of concussive narcissism and Twitter addiction. You ever doom scroll so hard your soul cramps? We used to start the day with coffee and a bowel movement. Now we start it by opening a handheld dopamine slot machine designed by sociopaths in hoodies. It's not a town square. It's a gladiator pit for narcissists, and instead of swords, we've got hot takes and TikTok filters. Used to be if someone walked down the street yelling about lizard people and government nanobots, you'd avoid them. Now we elect them to Congress and subscribe to their Substack. And it's not just the idiots. Even the smart people, academics, doctors, scientists, they're out there tweeting like, here's why climate change will kill us all in 20 years. And the first reply is a cartoon frog named GunDaddy69 going, fake news, trees are just gay windmills that cause cancer. It's performance art. We're all characters now. No one's living, they're just posting. Tragedy, post it. Lunch, post it. Mental breakdown, make a thread. And the most addictive part? The outrage. Outrage is the new heroin. It's free. It's everywhere. And you can mainline it through your eyeballs until you forget that your actual life is on fire. You used to have to earn being hated. Now you can get death threats for using the wrong pronoun in a thread about soup. But I digress.